I know we have many levels of experience in here. Some of y'all have been doing this for years and years. Some of y'all are new to doing this. I know I am no expert either. I have children, I have grandchildren, but I'm not an expert at this. But we do need to go over and refresh on proper procedures for a lot of the things that we're doing with, especially the infants. We've had an influx of infants, and not all of y'all have them, but most of y'all do have them now, and I know Barbara, you're getting one next week. So we've also had with that complaints about not proper procedure being done at the facilities. So that's why we're all here, so that we can go through the training. It's pretty basic, but we can't just do things the way we want to do them or think we should. There's proper ways to go about it that the state has said this is how you do it. I'm going to show some videos of what they tell us that the right way is, and then we'll have some discussions about what we're doing in the classrooms. There are also things that you may need that you don't have. If at the end of the discussion, I have a board over here, and if you feel like you need something in the classroom that you don't have, speak up, because I mean, we can get you what you need. That shouldn't be an issue. Or if you run out of things, please call and we'll get it to you. We'll also talk about cleaners and bleach and all that, because there's lots of confusions, because we have changed over and we're not using bleach. And I know that's different, but we have to stick to that. And every time we get the bleach out, all of a sudden the bleach is back. And we're not providing it from the center. So I don't know who's bringing in the bleach. Stop bringing in the bleach. We need to start with that. So I'm going to talk about hand washing and sanitation. And then we're going to do toys, cleaning of toys for infants and toddlers. You know they put everything in their mouth. That is a prime thing that you have to focus on so that the kids don't get sick. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about sleep. And then we're going to talk a little bit just about play from 0 to 12 months and the type of things that you do with infants. It's, you know, you have to engage them for their cognitive development. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And that's it. So we'll start with this. Any questions before we get started? Does that help everybody understand why we're here? Because there were a lot of questions coming in saying, what is this training for? Why have I been asked to come to this? Does that help? That's what I know. Okay. Yeah, we're going to start with the hand washing and cleaning.
Phone charging slowly. This is the fastest phone charger on the market.
And some of this does talk about bleach because they haven't updated any of the materials yet.
Childcare teachers and family childcare providers know that one of the best ways to reduce the spread of germs and prevent illness in their programs is to use good hand washing and sanitation practices. This video will provide information on proper techniques for hand washing and basic health considerations in childcare settings. In addition, we will show strategies used in many classrooms to ensure that children have a positive experience during routine. Please note that this video deals with considerations during the quality assessment process, and in North Carolina, the Division of Environmental Health and Division of Child Development also have requirements regarding sanitation for childcare programs, so it is important to be familiar with all requirements across the various agencies. Good sanitation and hand washing is important, and the goal is to complete routines effectively and efficiently. It may seem that the standards related to health practices are unrealistic or impossible to obtain. However, over the years, many programs have been observed where hand washing practices and other sanitation requirements have been successfully built into a healthy and developmentally appropriate childcare environment. For these programs, the health-related routines seem to occur in a natural and easy manner. At the same time, we must recognize that they spent much time planning for the implementation of good health practices. In this video, we will illustrate the basic requirements for sanitation, as well as how programs have been successful in implementing an effective hand washing process. hand washing includes wetting the hands with running water, washing all surfaces of the hands with soap for the required amount of time, rinsing well, drying hands with a single-use paper towel or other hand drying device, and turning off the faucet with a paper towel or other method without contaminating hands. Although very high standards for positive health practices are necessary, complete perfection is not expected in order to maintain a healthy environment for group care, so a few lapses are allowed.
Thank you for throwing that away.
To maintain a healthy environment, child care providers should ensure that children complete hand washing upon arrival to the classroom or re-entry after outdoor play, after messy types of play and before and after water play, after contact with contaminated objects or animals, and after contact with bodily fluids.
Fatima has her coat off. She's going to wash her hands.
Washing hands when entering the classroom helps ensure that germs from outside the classroom environment are washed away prior to touching materials or furnishings in the classroom. During center time, this classroom provides many different play options for children such as paint, Play-Doh, glue, and indoor sand activities. Many of these materials are moist and obviously messy. Germs can grow easily here, so hand washing is required. Even dry materials like sand and chalk can be dusty or powdery. Hand washing after use, before other materials are handled, keeps classroom materials clean. Hand washing is also needed after touching surfaces such as mouthed objects or toys, upon contact with a trash can or trash can lid, after wiping up spills, or when teachers use cleaning products.
Well, what do you do when you're tired? Tissue, there you go. Let's see.
Children and adults should wash their hands after any contact with bodily fluids such as saliva, mucus, or blood. This hand washing is critical, especially because children can be contagious without any symptoms of illness. Though a few programs have conveniently installed sinks and bathrooms on their playgrounds, most programs do not have access to these facilities in their outdoor play environment. Physical activity and exposure to the natural world is very important. Therefore, in North Carolina, some types of hand washing can be delayed when children are engaged in outdoor play activities.
Oh, good blowing. You really did need to blow that nose. Really blow it again. Let's go over and throw it away together. I'm sorry you're not feeling so well.
The use of hand sanitizing products, disposable wipes, or wet paper towels does not replace hand washing. However, programs are permitted to use these products while outdoors if all children's hands are washed upon returning indoors. Anytime a waterless wash is used with children, it is essential to keep the container out of children's reach and to carefully supervise the children as they use the substance. However, if children will be eating outside or there is contact with blood, then typical hand washing routines using soap and running water should occur, even when the children are playing outdoors. All children and adults need to wash their hands before eating. Teachers should wash their hands prior to food preparation and also bottle feeding. Additionally, children and teachers need to wash their hands after they eat. This infant had his hands washed before holding his own bottle. This is required for children who hold their bottles even when they are held by the caregiver. There are many options for creating systems to promote sanitary routines in the classroom while managing problems of contamination. This class allows many opportunities for children to play freely. As children become hungry for snack, one teacher prepares food for individual children while the others continue playing. This limits the chances for children to start playing with one another or leaving the table to touch materials before eating. Having access to a floater to assist with transition times can be very helpful, especially with younger children who may not understand the importance of hand washing prior to coming to the table.
All right, go wash your hands. Which one is the next biggest? Malachi.
In this public school pre-K, the children engage in a group game activity with the lead teacher while the assistant sanitizes the table and has a few helpers set up for lunch. Nancy sends small groups of children to wash hands with Maria, and then children are immediately seated to eat.
Which one is the next biggest? All right, go wash your hands.
This reduces wait times before eating, and then all of the children are seated for lunch with both teachers. While hand washing may be the single most important measure to stop the spread of germs, surface sanitation plays a crucial role in maintaining the cleanliness of the childcare environment and preventing viruses, bacteria, and other microbes from spreading among furnishings, children, and adults. In preparation for eating and when meals and snacks are over, the table surfaces must be cleaned and sanitized. To do this properly, the table should first be cleaned. Remove any food crumbs and then clean the table with detergent. Most programs apply a solution of soap and water for this step and then rinse it, always using a single-use cloth or paper towel when wiping the table. Next, the table is sprayed with a sanitizer that is approved for safe use in the childcare setting. Many programs use a bleach solution diluted with water as specified by state sanitation rules or use another approved sanitizing product as an alternate to the bleach solution. The surface must be sprayed and left glistening wet with the bleach solution. It must then be allowed to air dry or be wiped dry only after a minimum contact time of 2 minutes. Watch how these classrooms reduce exposure to potentially contaminated surfaces. This infant classroom has containers on hand to separate mouthed toys.
That's good pretending.
While facilitating the matter play with this toddler, Marissa models how to pretend to use the cup without touching it to her mouth. The toddler is learning to do this, but still mouths the cup. When he is finished playing and moves on to another activity, the teacher removes the toy for sanitation before another child picks it up. Hand washing after diapering and toileting routines is vital in reducing the spread of germs associated with gastrointestinal illness. These germs can make children and adults very sick, but for the youngest, these illnesses can be severe. Teachers also need to wash their hands as the last step of the diaper change process. This should occur before they touch any other classroom surfaces, such as cabinet doors, materials in the classroom, or when they hand a toy to a child after returning them to play activities. Children who are potty training or who complete toileting routines independently must wash their hands. Teachers must wash hands after assisting children, whether they are changing pull-ups or diapers for children involved in potty training or simply helping a child with their zipper or button. Maria helps this older preschooler button her skirt and then washes her hands before assisting other children. This young infant enrolled in a family childcare home has head control, so after this diaper change, the caregiver can wash hands in the sink.
All right, you ready
In
for the
contrast,
water?
this 7-week-old infant does not yet have head control. He cannot hold his head steady without additional support from the teacher while being held upright, so the teacher wipes his hands with a disposable wipe after completing his diaper change. This method is adequate until he has head control like the older baby. This toddler program designed a sink with several faucets to reduce wait times during hand washing. As children return to the classroom after outdoor play, several children wash hands at the same time and then quickly resume play inside. To reduce contamination of clean hands, this program uses a trash can with a step pedal that is easy for teachers and children to operate. Another solution to reduce contamination of hands is to remove the trash can lid before group hand washing routines occur.
Can you go put it in the trash can with me? Yeah, right here. Thank you so much.
Other strategies to help children learn about good health practices include visual cues. This hand washing chart was created by the children in the classroom at the beginning of the school year. The teacher uses it to help children remember the steps involved. Maria uses verbal reminders to ensure this child follows all of the steps. Making sure there is a strong understanding of the times when hand washing is necessary is important because sometimes children are required to wash their hands more than is actually necessary. Unnecessary hand washings can add up over the course of the day and result in extra transitions for children, taking time away from play and learning activities. For example, it is not required for children to wash hands before they use Play-Doh or sand, or when they move from one activity area to another within the classroom. Teaching children to sneeze or cough into the elbow reduces the spread of germs and does not require hand washing afterwards.
So remember, if you have to sneeze when we're inside, it's okay to catch your sneeze in your wet. How can we catch it? Oh, in our elbows! Achoo!
Here, let's put that one right on your little, right, Jason, remember it.
Thinking about the why behind the various requirements is helpful, and if in doubt, there are many agencies in North Carolina that can offer assistance and answer questions.
There, that's called working together.
Good sanitation practices and proper hand washing contribute significantly to children's and teachers' overall health, thus supporting a quality learning environment.
Where's the food? Seriously, if someone's colon is clogged and they have constipation and it's been 2, 3, or even 10 days without relief, where does it all go? The consequences can be serious. Heck, Elvis died from constipation and not a heart attack as previously believed. According to his longtime friend and personal physician, Dr. George Nicopolis, the autopsy revealed that President's colon was 5 to 6 inches in diameter, compared to the normal width of 2 inches.
All right, questions, comments? Are y'all washing infants' hands? Are you wiping them? Do you know about the head control and the non-head control and when to do that and when not to do that?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. How about your own hands? Everybody washing their hands that many times a day?
Yep.
Yep. Cleaners. This is our cleaner. This shows you just why it's the better choice. One thing we don't want people mixing cleaners because of the concentrations and knowing the concentrations and not even just knowing them but getting them right. The kill time is not 2 minutes on our product. The kill time on our product is 30 seconds. So if it's been on the table for over 30 seconds, I know I've heard complaints that it leaves like a little residue. You can go back over it after that if you want to wipe it, but you have to leave it sitting there for at least 30 seconds. So you don't have to mix it, it's already ready for you, and the kill time is faster. The wipes and the spray, everybody has it, right? Yep. Now, if you want to use soap and water first, you can use soap, and you can always use soap and water. There's no problem with that. We just don't want the bleach solutions in the classrooms. It also shouldn't be, anywhere near the kids. This shouldn't be near the kids either, but this is child safe. So, any questions about that? A lot of this training just is old, going into how you mix it. I have these charts, but once again, the charts haven't been updated either. I don't know, Wendy, how frequently these people update this stuff, but everything talks about a 1 to 2 minute wait time when you're cleaning. You probably have these in your classroom. Everybody have these? It breaks down what the items are and how to clean them. Well, I have a few if you'd like one for the classroom. Do you have one of these in there? And I can make some more if y'all need me to. I can get you one. But that time, you wouldn't have to leave it in there that time. But I do have, like the buckets. Do y'all use the buckets where once somebody puts it in their mouth, it goes into the bucket to be cleaned later?
Yep.
Okay. That's good. But we want to talk about toys, and the infant toys should be like the mouthing, the things that they are going to mouth, they should be their toys. They shouldn't go to another child at another point, even if they're washed and cleaned. So we need to label them for that child, and they should have labels on them. I have my bucket of stuff here. We have these labels. These are waterproof labels. They can go in the washing machine, they can go in the dishwasher. I provided some for Smart Start in West Point for bottles, but these can go on toys, they can go on teething rings, they can go on anything that we need to label that is that child's item. Because they shouldn't be sharing like teethers or anything like that. And when they're really tiny, they should have toys that are their toys, because everything goes in their mouth. Such as, now I'm jumping to the toy part, but like these little things for the infants that rattle, if we give them, we should label them as theirs so that that only goes back to that infant. We have these laundry bags in different sizes that you can put the cloth toys in and put them through the washing machine. And it tells you on there what things. They have these at the centers. And you should have these that go in the dishwasher for things that can go in the dishwasher. Do y'all have these that you put stuff in and then it goes to the kitchen to be cleaned in the dishwasher? Do your bottles go in these and then go to the dishwasher?
We just have just a bucket that we put our dirty bottles in and it goes to the kitchen. Not that specifically.
Okay. All right, well, those are different ways to clean your items.
Sleeping is a very important part of a child's activity during the stage of infancy.
The purpose for the Dr. Daycare Sleep and Napping Guidelines is to teach children routines and meet each child's individual developmental needs. Sleep provides opportunities for brain development, growth, and influences lifelong sleeping habits. Children are supervised at all times while sleeping, just as they're supervised at all times of the day. Dr. Daycare follows safe sleep practices to guide our teachers in meeting the needs of our infants. This means that babies are always placed on their backs when placed in the crib. Remember the phrase, back to sleep. No items are allowed in the cribs. This includes blankets, bumpers, or stuffed animals. If the child rolls over, usually around 4 to 7 months, it's okay to leave the baby on their stomach or side. Please do not roll the child over. Rolling over is a developmental milestone in their life. Cribs will not be rocked or shaken for the safety of the children and teachers. If you ever have a question regarding a child's sleeping habits, please ask your administrator to help you develop a plan with the parents. The home office staff are also always available as a resource to you. See our Sleeping Infants policy for guidelines on infant sleeping schedules. It's important to keep in mind most babies rest at the times outlined in the policy and for about 1 to 2 hours each time they rest. These are general guidelines for child development and may fluctuate with each child's personality. Many components are taken into consideration for resting. The age of the baby, what time the child woke up in the morning prior to coming to Dr. Daycare, how long an infant typically naps at home, and the parent's feedback about their child's sleeping habits. Typically, babies who do not fall asleep shortly after being placed in their crib, they will be nurtured by a teacher by gently touching the child's hair or head, gentle reassuring pats on the feet, arms, or shoulders, and using a reassuring, calm voice. Reposition a pacifier in the baby's mouth, allowing the child to soothe him or herself to sleep. If the child is still not ready for sleep, you can take the child out of the crib and engage the child with activities we reviewed earlier, such as tummy time, swing, rocking and reading, or playing and exploring the classroom. The baby will be placed back in their crib during the next scheduled rest time. If the child falls asleep or seems visibly tired while engaged in activities, the baby will then be placed back in their crib. You may notice a baby is visibly tired if you see him or her rubbing their eyes, yawning, or crying. As you become more familiar with the babies in your classroom and their unique personalities, you'll begin to notice these cues more easily. Children are never allowed to sleep in any other place except a crib. This means children are not allowed to sleep in a swing, car seat, high chair, the floor, or in a teacher's arms. If a parent brings their child to Dr. Daycare in a car seat, the baby is removed from the car seat before the parent leaves the classroom. It's important that children do not remain in their car seats, even if they're sleeping. Anytime a child falls asleep anywhere other than the crib, they will immediately be placed in their crib. We cannot stress enough the importance of sleeping only in a crib. While teachers are encouraged to hold, rock, nurture, and educate babies throughout the entire day, babies are not rocked for the purpose to assist them in falling asleep. If an infant falls asleep while being rocked or held during part of the day's activities, then the baby will be immediately placed in their crib on their back. All cribs must have a firm crib mattress and tight-fitting sheet. No additional items can be placed in the crib. This includes blankets, bottles, bibs, or toys. Parents may bring in a sleep sack or pacifier for their child's rest times, with parental permission on the rest time item form. Pacifiers should never have clips or be attached to the child in any way. Pacifiers are only used when the child is in the crib sleeping. Less use of a pacifier during daytime will assist children in developing verbal skills. When the child awakes from his or her nap, it's important that the child does not associate crying with being immediately taken out of his or her crib. Some suggestions are to engage the child by smiling, singing a soft song, or gently clapping hands. As soon as the child smiles and stops crying, pick up the child and positively praise the child's smile. In time, a child will wake up smiling and not crying. At approximately 15 to 17 months old, the infant lead teacher will speak with the infant's parents about transitioning the child from a crib to a cot to help prepare for the move to the toddler classroom. All naps in the infant room are recorded on the infant daily log and in tadpoles. This helps with parent communication and noting patterns of child development.
Any questions about that? No? Okay. There's just a couple of other things that, the bottles, all the bottles need to have a label on them with the name and the date. Everybody's doing that. I know I supplied bottle labels for Kitty Corner and Smart Start. Does anybody else need bottle labels? No?
I will need
You
them.
have some?
No, I will
Okay.
need them.
In the toddler and infant rooms, I don't know that we're doing this, but it's one of the suggestions. Do we have thermometers that go on the floor level for the room? I don't think we do.
No.
We're supposed to, because the floor of the infant toddler room is not supposed to get below 68 degrees, because the infants stay down on the floor a lot in that area. So we're supposed to have a thermometer in the room near the floor. I don't think we're doing that, but. Air fresheners are not allowed. I know a lot of times we get requests for people to send air fresheners, to order air fresheners. You're not allowed to use air fresheners in the centers. We talked about the cubbies to store stuff with their names on them. And to make sure that there aren't personal items of the staffs in the classroom where the kids can get to them at all. So make sure you have a secure place for that.
Miss Gay, what about the Lysol spray and stuff? I still use a lot of that.
It's okay if the kids aren't there, but you probably shouldn't be spraying it while they're there. Storage, you're not supposed to store anything like toys or supplies or anything like that in the bathroom. Is anybody doing that? Kitty Corner, you're the only one I question. That infant room where the bathroom is, a lot of times I go in there and there's stuff all over the sink. Is that dirty stuff to go to the kitchen? Okay, that's the only one I question, but we can't store stuff in the bathrooms. Unless they said you have a cabinet that closes and is secure in the bathroom. Sink temperature of the water at the sink. Does anybody know what that's supposed to be?
120.
Between 98 and 120, you are correct. Somebody ask you that?
No, my water connection with the daycare,
Okay.
I like my water to be really hot and it can't happen.
Yes, that's right, 120. Did you have a question?
Mine is just like the sensor, and my water is usually pretty cold.
Pretty cold?
Always.
Shouldn't be cold.
Yeah.
We might want to get Chris to check that. I'll do a work order for him to come look at your, water. Because the sink water is supposed to be between 90 and 120. In the restrooms, at the diaper changing, where the kids wash their hands, I'll get him to check that. That's the same thing. Those are some random things. Here's one last video we'll look at. It's short.
Sometimes babies cry. Here are some suggestions on how to best handle crying. Babies cry as a way to communicate their needs. There are different types of cries and different ways of handling crying. Careful listening on the part of the teacher will help determine which type of cry is occurring and how to properly respond. Do not assume that a baby is crying just because of hunger. There are many reasons that a baby cries, and finding the right solution is very important. Following the child's feeding and napping schedules, as well as diapering at scheduled times, will help alleviate crying. When our very youngest infants, between 6 weeks and 3 months, cry, it requires the teacher be attentive and available to offer comfort and helps the baby form attachments. Babies who have been hurt need a teacher to provide immediate attention to discover what's wrong and provide comfort. Sometimes a baby needs reassurance that a parent will come back. Reassure the child that the parent will return soon and work on engaging the child into an activity with a teacher or other children. At nap time, the teacher will check to make sure the child has a pacifier, if the child uses one, and will console the child by talking softly in a reassuring voice. Crying can be stressful in an infant room. Hopefully, as you get to know your infant's wants and needs, you'll be able to provide a calm, reassuring environment.
Back to the sleep one. I know this comes up a lot, and we get conflicting answers about the sleeping in the swings and sleeping in the things. It's apparently not against licensure rules, but the PCDC policy says it doesn't happen. So, that's why I did show that, just so you know that our policy says we don't do it. The other thing is there are 2 new policies that have come out this year that have been approved by Policy Council and the board, but I need to make sure y'all know about them. So if licensure comes in and says, do you have these policies? We do have them. One is abusive head trauma, or the shaken baby. You had to have a separate policy that addresses that. So that's one policy that's new that we do have if they ask you. And the other is you had to have a policy on toilet training. So we also have that. If you'd like a copy, I can get it for you. The toilet training one is, the shaken baby one is about looking for signs and symptoms of abuse, etc. like that. The toilet training one basically says that we collaborate with the parent on their wishes at the time and how to go about it. I have been working with family advocates on doing potty training kits for girls and boys, and I've told them to talk to y'all so that when the parent is ready, we can give them a kit. And it'll have a potty seat in it, and a book, and some reward stuff for that, and some literature on how to go about potty training. So we have been working on those.